How does chewing hard foods actually make your jaw bigger? We already know that chewing hard foods, it does happen, but what are the actual mechanical processes that trigger this growth? It's kind of hard to understand. And there are numerous factors contributing to jaw growth by chewing hard foods. These factors can be described by understanding the relationship between Wolff's Law and Heuter-Volkmann's Law. In a nutshell, Wolff's Law talks about how bone adapts and reinforces in adults, whereas Volkmann's Law talks about how bone reshapes and adapts in children and teens, specifically in the growing stage. In order to understand how the jaw gets bigger when chewing hard foods, it's important to understand what Wolff's Law is. The most obvious example of Wolff's Law is essentially your bones getting thicker and more dense when under load.
Your bones aren't fragile. They learn how to get harder. Every time your foot slams into the ground, every kick crashes into something tougher than flesh. There's a sound you can't hear. Tiny fractures. Micro cracks too small to feel, but loud enough for your body to notice. Pain follows, a deep, burning pulse inside the bone, and your body reads it as a warning. This is Wolff's Law. When bones face repeated stress, they don't break down. They adapt. Those micro cracks are rebuilt with denser calcium, changing the structure, making it thicker, stronger, reinforced from the inside like concrete. That's why Muay Thai fighters can kick trees, and over time, their bones don't shatter. They turn into weapons. The human body doesn't just survive pressure, it uses it to become stronger. Your bones aren't fragile.
No one's gonna deny you on that fact. It's very well documented and well measured, and we've known this for 100 years. However, one example of Heuter-Volkmann's Law is when there is substantial pressure on a bone, it can actually stunt the growth, as seen as this article concludes right here. Heuter-Volkmann's Law also states that sustained distraction essentially also increases growth. It's a much smaller rate, but the rates are real, and especially when they happen over long periods of time. Hello. Anyways, so essentially what this video is trying to say is Wolff's Law talks about how bone adapts in adults, and when responds to stress, the bone gets more dense. Okay. Obviously, if you tear the bone apart, it will fill in, but if you just pull it apart, it's not gonna actually grow. It's not gonna grow. Like how in Volkmann's Law, Volkmann's Law is interesting because the growth rates respond pretty traditionally, actually. Distraction, also known as tension, causes an increased growth rate, and then pressure essentially causes a decreased growth rate. That's kind of the relationship between those two laws. This is important because this directly impacts and has extreme impacts on how the jaw is formed when you chew hard foods as a kid. So thank you for watching. Part 2 is coming out soon.